Hey guys, Dr. Epic here. Welcome back to the channel for another video. In this channel, I like to basically talk about stuff that I find cool or interesting. And I usually do this by asking a question that I try to explore a little bit deeper. Today I was thinking about this. Everyone who's played the Mass Effect games, they want a trilogy or a game to give them the same strong, good feelings they felt with the existing games. The question I want to ask is, can the next Mass Effect game or a new trilogy or saga actually deliver that same magic? The reason I want to ask this question is largely to manage our expectations so that we do not miss a great masterpiece of a game just because we have too high expectations due to the brilliance of the earlier games.
You big stupid jellyfish.
And if the OG magic is impossible to recapture, we shouldn't judge the next games for failing, right? We should judge it on its own merits. The OG games delivered a unique magic, so I want to explore exactly what this magic is, and then if this magic can likely be reproduced. In order to explore what the OG magic was, I think the best way is to ask what feelings did the OG trilogy make us feel, and what atmosphere did the OG games create. The OG games made us feel grief, the stress of choice, joy, camaraderie, romance, adventure, all these things. And with good characters, gripping story, then these feelings are easy to achieve. I think it's important to create new, good, likable characters, because even if the universe has a lot of mystery and other classic elements, if the characters are terrible, you just don't want to interact with them, and you just don't want to live in that universe. I don't want them relying too much on previous characters either. I would much prefer previous characters play a role like legends or historical figures in the universe. One reason I want this is because I'm just scared of the developers or whoever ruining established beloved characters. And another reason I want this is because that most characters deserve to rest, like Rex for instance, if he lives. Another reason is that I feel it's lazy and it might feel shoehorned and fan-servicey, leading to a loss in immersion. It seems at least Liara will play a significant role in the next Mass Effect game, which makes sense, I'll admit. She's a powerful character with the Shadowbroker resources, and she is simply as well a creature that can live a really long time, so that just makes sense, even with a time skip. I would be more skeptical if the story was, say, 600 years in the future and all the human and Salarian members just happened to be frozen in cryo or something, and they still were around in the next game. That would be very weird and likely break immersion. And I just want the story writers to at least be aware of this problem. And the feeling stemming from good characters and story, I believe, is one part of the magic. The atmosphere and universe that the game takes place in, I believe, is also an important part of the magic. The setting, if you will. In the OG games, the atmosphere was filled with mystery. Factors and stories that established mystery was the story of the Protheans, the mass relays, the Citadel, the Reapers, the Collectors, the Geth, and of course the many other species and organizations that existed.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
These stories have been explored fairly thoroughly at this point, so I don't think they can create as much mystery anymore. Plus, the OG games were the first games in the franchise, so that added as well novelty and mystery from that. Now, these games already exist, so they control our expectations in a much stronger way. We are more sure of what the rules in the Mass Effect universe are, and what should logically follow from actions. But it's not just the names and places of the universe that make us feel like it's Mass Effect. Just look at when Halo 4 launched. It had a new art direction, new story philosophy direction, and even though it used the same characters and names, many people felt it didn't feel like Halo, which Makes sense when you look at all the fundamental changes that happened. And I don't want Mass Effect to go in this trap. And instead I want Mass Effect to play to the series' strengths, much like how Halo Infinite decided to do in regards to Halo's core elements. Luckily, Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda added some new mysteries. Mass Effect 3 introduced the Leviathans. Those guys I find really interesting, and I will definitely make an own video about them probably. Probably. Andromeda added the most new mysteries and mysterious factions, and some more mysterious than others. The most mysterious elements were the Jardan, the Remnant, the Scourge, the Angara, the Ket, and the Benefactor, among other things. New mysteries, I think, is the most vital part of recreating the OG magic. So I personally hope they don't bog themselves too much down in exploring well-explored stories. For example, I don't think making Cerberus the main antagonist or diving really deep into them will give us much mystery in the next game. However, some explored mysteries seem to not be as well explored as Cerberus, for instance. For example, there is presumably still much we don't know about the Reapers or the Leviathan, or maybe even the Thorian creature or something completely different like that. A lot of the Milky Way is also not explored physically in the Mass Effect universe, so who knows what lurks in the dark corridors of the galaxy. And that last point goes double, at least, for the Andromeda galaxy, which is way bigger. So here we have defined the magic of Mass Effect as stemming from the feelings that the characters and the story give us and the atmosphere that the universe gives off. And the atmosphere needs mystery. I believe these are among the most important elements in pulling off the Mass Effect magic. We obviously also need all the core and signature gameplay elements like impactful decision making, good dialogue options.
You big stupid jellyfish.
In my opinion, bring back the Paragon and Renegade-ish system. The Andromeda system just seemed like variants of Boring Guy and Funny Guy.
It's like a fairy tale. Do you have those? Where everyone walks off into the sunset holding hands?
At a time like this, I think it's strange that you can't resist making a joke.
I can, so. Jarl, our people... Actually, no, I can't.
Sometimes funny. A good exploration system is key, and a good combat system is also well appreciated. And all these gameplay elements, they serve better as material for another video. In this video we're talking mostly about the atmosphere and the feelings you get, not just the nitty-gritty gameplay. I will say, however, I think that recreating the magic of the gameplay elements is much easier than recreating the magic of these more story-based elements that we're talking about in this video, like characters, story, and atmosphere. I do think it's possible to recreate the magic, but it would be really hard and perhaps next to impossible to recreate the magic in the same form as the OG games did. You simply have more freedom in story writing when making a brand new universe versus expanding an established universe. I think we have the right to expect a good story, good characters, good mysterious atmosphere and Mass Effect style gameplay from the next Mass Effect game. I do think we need to be aware though of the likely possibility that recapturing the same magic from the OG games is impossible. I do think that the game can still be magical though, and true to the Mass Effect spirit. I think we should open our arms as to not be blinded by impossible expectations or nostalgia, but of course stay critical and expect the things we have a right to expect. With that perspective, you're most likely to get a game that will give you a magical experience. And remember, don't compare the totality of Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3 together to a single new game, as that is just unfair. Compare rather to Mass Effect 1, which was the first game in the trilogy and a standalone at launch, or compare it to Andromeda, perhaps, since it's a sort of standalone spin-off. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is a reasonable way to think about the next Mass Effect game? Do you think I defined the magic of the Mass Effect games sufficiently? Let me know if you want to explore the gameplay-oriented elements like impactful decision-making and Paragon Renegade dialogue systems and stuff like that. The comment section is always the designated landing zone. As for now, I'll be signing out and I'll see you in the next video.